This is just the best. I think you're going to like this. You know how it's usually the left that says socializing healthcare would save money, it would work well, it's a good idea, it's fiscally conservative, and the right insists that it's too expensive, we can't afford it, it would run up the debt to socialize healthcare. We've had economists on the show who explain the math to us. For example, UMass economist Gerald Friedman. But the right ignores people like Jerry because they say that's a left-wing Bernie supporter. He can't be trusted. There is now a Koch brother-backed study which found that the government cost for Medicare for all would be lower than if we stuck with exactly what we are doing right now. The entire cost of Medicare for all for 10 years would be $32.6 trillion. That's less than the current system, which will cost the government a little over $33 trillion for a decade. The study is from the Mercatus Center. It's called The Costs of a National Single-Payer Healthcare System. This is a libertarian think tank. The Koch brothers give them money. And I want to make sure I'm presenting this clearly because there's been so much misinformation about this in media, in right-wing media and in corporate media as well. The study says the cost to the government would go down, right? The government would save about $850 billion on prescription costs, about $1.6 trillion on administrative costs. This doesn't include the bulk of the program's costs, which would be paid for through income taxes by businesses and individuals, okay? I'm not trying to hide that. What I'm talking about is that the cost to the government would go down slightly if we were to go to Medicare for all. Of course, it costs money to do this, but the cost to the government would go down. Then it becomes, would you rather pay more in taxes as an individual or a business, but not pay for health insurance for yourself or for your employees? And the study is actually probably wrong in its assessment that Medicare would cost a ton more in taxes than what people already pay for health insurance. That's the big deception when people report about this. Reports say we would have to put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% tax on income in order to pay for this thing. Right, but how much would be saved by not paying health insurance premiums and co-payments and deductibles? Right away, the right will say it'll cost $50 trillion for this thing in taxes, but it might save $60 trillion in health insurance payments, right? And that's what you really have to account for. There's some very simple math here that we can think about. If you make $50,000 a year, Bernie's plan said you need a 2.2% tax on salary. Call it 3%. If you make $50,000 a year, a 3% tax is $125 a month. If you're currently single, you probably already pay more than $125 a month towards your health insurance. If you have a family, you pay way more than $125 a month in health insurance. Consider the numbers from the corporate perspective. If you are a company and you're big enough to offer health insurance, if you have to pay 7% payroll tax for employee health insurance, that would be $3,500 for the year per employee or $291 per month. You probably are already paying that or more for your employees already, the difference being that the employees will be more likely to go and get seen when they're not feeling well because they don't have a copay or a coinsurance or whatever. Don't be tricked into thinking that the math is really complex. Everybody would pay more in taxes for Medicare for all, but then health insurance premiums, copays, coinsurance, deductibles, and prescription costs go away. And every serious analysis has pointed out that it would be a net savings. And now even the Koch-funded think tank, the Mercatus Center, says the cost to the government would also go down. Do you think, Pat, that media is deliberately misreporting the results of this study? Or do you think they just don't understand it? Because it is sort of complex. Like, well, it costs 32 trillion compared to 33 trillion. That's actually a decrease.
It depends on what kind of media you're talking about.
Okay.
Like, I'm not surprised that Fox News isn't running a headline here that says, study shows that actually Medicare for all would save money in the long term. We're not going to see that from them, right?
No, you see $32.3 trillion in costs. That's a big price tag. We can't afford that. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think depending on which media outlet you're talking about, some are deliberately obfuscating, some are just very confused by this. But this is actually proof from the right that this would be better in terms of government spending. It's the fiscally conservative thing to do. And we have numerous studies from all across the political spectrum which point out that the cost of the additional income tax to fund this program would more than likely be smaller than what people currently pay for health insurance. At this point, if you're not convinced, it has to be because you're not willing to see it and you're committed to not understanding it. Discuss this with us on our subreddit, as many of you already are, davidpakman.com/REDDIT. Quick break. Next, I will debate socialism versus social democracy with Peter Coffin. Today's program is made possible in part by betterhelp.com/Pakman. This is something I really believe in. BetterHelp gives you access to fully licensed and experienced psychologists and therapists through your phone or computer. I have been talking for years about the problem around people not seeking help because of the stigma around mental health services, because of the cost of mental health services. And all you have to do with BetterHelp is go to betterhelp.com/Pakman, answer some basic questions. You'll be matched with a therapist that will be right for you. You can change therapists if you don't think that it's a good fit. It's less expensive than seeing someone in person. You will still get the professional help, and it is unlimited. You can talk to a therapist every day from home or wherever you are. Go to betterhelp.com/Pakman. It is so easy to sign up and get started. We've put a link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, betterhelp.com/PAKMAN. If you've been wanting to talk to somebody, but for whatever reason haven't, please go to betterhelp.com/PAKMAN.